Hiya there, pal. Follow me.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Elite Realm channel. Today, we're going to tell you about the main characters in the latest part of Poppy Playtime. There are some really cool heroes and villains in this part, so let's get started. There is always uneasiness surrounding the identity of the protagonists and antagonists in Poppy Playtime. A question mark remains above Poppy's head as the game title references her, alongside the creation of Poppy being the first toy Playtime Co., created back in 1950. The antagonists of each chapter have erratic and nefarious behavior caused by their conditioning at Playtime Co. Huggy Wuggy acted as the security system. Mommy Long Legs was the maternal figure to the orphans, who conducted tests at the game station to train their reflexes and intelligence. Finally, Catnap was the protector and general anesthetist of Playcare, putting orphans to sleep for the Bigger Bodies initiative. Catnap's more sympathetic writing pointed us in a new direction for the series as Doey The Dougman joins the fray, a new ally for the player to follow and rely on. Chapter 4's trailers point us toward 3 possible villains, each reminiscent of previous antagonists. A focus on Harley Sawyer, Yarnaby, and new nightmare critters. Chapter 4 houses new threats and ways to beat them. Let's look at who you'll meet in Safe Haven. The most consistent figure in Poppy Playtime, and rightly so, the game is named after her, Poppy appears as the secondary protagonist of the story. She's leading our character to see out her plan, but the problem is, we don't actually know what she's up to. She finally reveals her glorious plan to take down the prototype from inside Safe Haven, but at what cost? We follow her to the bitter end, keeping our grab pack fingers tightly crossed that she isn't tricking us. Poppy continues feeding us the narrative that Experiment 1006 is the primary antagonist, but is the story as straightforward as Poppy wants us to think? Well, the Doctor sure has some things to say about her version of the story. The Doctor is one of the newest experiments to make Playtime's long list. And the most interesting part, he's the founder of the Bigger Bodies initiative. Betrayed by the head staff, Dr. Harley Sawyer was transformed into an experiment against his will. Serves him right, really. Unlike other experiments who were given monstrous appearances resembling their toy counterpart, Sawyer was confined into Playtime's security system, where his obsession for science and his lack of humility would be cut off at the source. Relying on his affiliation with experiments he'd manipulate and bend to his will, the Doctor is just one of the many villains you'll face in Safe Haven. Kissy Missy was created shortly after Huggy Wuggy. However, her role in the facility is unknown. Seen as Poppy's right hand, Kissy Missy appears sweet and innocent. Disrupting Poppy's plan at the end of Chapter 3, Kissy Missy is last heard screaming in the distance. Left on a cliffhanger, we venture back into the darkness in hopes of shining a light on what exactly happened to Kissy Missy. Being the only toy I trust, Kissy Missy is revealed to be badly wounded, rendering her somewhat useless throughout this installment. But at least we get confirmation she's alive. Her identity is still unknown, being one of the few bigger bodies that don't speak and whose motives seem to line up perfectly with Poppy's. But is she also being played for a fool? Experiment 1006 is the prototype of Playtime Co., a sentient creature with more intelligence than other monstrous creations. Experiment 1006 is doing everything in its power to escape the facility. Seen as the guardian of the monsters, the experiment steals the lifeless bodies of those we've defeated, which most of us assume at the end of its metallic arm is an amalgamation of monsters. Similar to Poppy, we know that the experiment has a fondness for the monsters, but it's a wonder whether both characters are simply manipulating the young, gullible minds of the orphans. Poppy Playtime is just a standoff between Poppy and Prototype, but who wins this fight will likely be down to us. a lion-like creature that appears adorable in its design. Yarnaby is the pug-a-pillar of this chapter. His cuddly exterior, much like Huggy Wuggy, acts as a distraction to its hostile phase that reveals a fleshy interior of two mouths. Its head retracts open, showcasing a set of bloody teeth with another mouth as its center, similar to a xenomorph. As this chapter focuses on Harley Sawyer, we will have to escape from Yarnaby, who follows the Doctor's every command, a puppet to his master. Yarnaby is quite large in his design, but this seems to change as you play through Safe Haven. Trained as a hunter, Yarnaby stalks the corridors of Playtime Prison as one of the main threats this entry offers, although he's quite easy to avoid. Doey the Dougman is Safe Haven's ally, being a friend to Poppy, Kissy Missy, and Ollie. The Safe Haven's protector, a prison sector, is powered by a system the Doctor can't control. Doey is the leader orphans look up to. Similar to Catnap, the chapter is clearly centered around Doey as we're taken on a journey through the prison. This character is friendly, courageous, and caring, one of the few toys that actually wants to help save others. Capable of morphing his body into anything, Doey moves around the facility with ease. But is there something bubbling underneath his squishy exterior? Resembling the smiling critters, these nightmarish versions are wicked from the get-go. Unlike the smiling critters who were victims of Catnap's assault and punishment, the nightmare critters act as the final hurdle against Dog Day. Baba Chops, the nightmare critter in the form of a lamb, kills Dog Day in the Chapter 4 teaser trailer, signifying the end of the smiling critters. This critter is larger than others, and is a threat you will have to face as the Doctor throws toys at you in his temper tantrum for power. The smiling critters are gone, as the nightmare critters replace them with a bloodthirsty desire. They're oh so hungry, and are eagerly waiting for you to visit them, down in the dark depths of the facility, where they've been left to starve. Pianosaurus moves and looks a lot like a velociraptor. With a piano for a mouth, he doesn't seem all that threatening. That is, until he runs. Shown in the trailer as a speed demon, we're warned that this bigger body attacks anything that moves. However, Pianosaurus's role in Safe Haven is incredibly underwhelming, focusing more on providing a moment of shock in the story rather than having any real impact. There's not much to say about this character due to his tiny role, making him sadly forgettable as his potential is wasted. Poppy Playtime. Chapter 4 features the greatest number of characters we've seen in this series. Small toys appear as part of the Bigger Bodies initiative. Their humanity is intact, making them innocent monsters. The smiling critter toys and mini-huggies appear like children just looking for a parental figure to look after them. This somehow seems more cruel than what's been done to recurring characters like Poppy, Kissy Missy, and the prototype. While the Bigger Bodies initiative is inhumane, terrifying, and unjustifiable, it feels unnecessary turning these children into monsters just for the sake of it. There's a surprise cameo at the end from a beloved mascot, but we won't spoil that here.